Well, good afternoon. Happy Tuesday to you. I am so excited that you're here. I'm Carrie Schwer of Gray Tonic, and we have not met yet. Hello and welcome. We are on a 5-day live presentation. Today is day 2, and today we're talking about why you're stuck and how you can shift from it. Listen, we all have gray areas, and I want to recap yesterday in case you missed yesterday's live. I talked about what are the gray areas and are you in one? Are you living in the gray? And can I tell you, my friend, that every person has a gray area in their life? We just do. Sometimes they're macro, they're really, really big, and other times they are so small that they can seem like nothing. And the problem with that is when we let these gray areas go unnoticed for a long period of time, they compound and it becomes this massive a snowball effect in your life that can impact all areas of your life. And here's the truth. Gray areas aren't necessarily like a rock bottom. Matter of fact, they're rarely a rock bottom. If anything, they're fair. They're just not great. I wrote down a couple of things I thought were really fun. When you're in the gray area, this is not fun. I didn't mean that being in a gray area is fun because it's not, but you're surviving. You're not thriving. You're limping, not leading, right? When we are barely getting through our day, we're limping through it. There's no intention. We're not leading. Another one is we're faking, not making. I got to tell you, it's like wearing a mask. A lot of times when you're in a gray area, you're putting on a good front. You're telling others and around you that you're fine when you're not. Yesterday, we talked about why fine isn't a good place to be because you're not thriving. And another one is that you are numbing rather than becoming the person that you know that you're capable of becoming and that you desire to be. And that is what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about who you are right now and who you wish to be. What is it that you want? And a lot of times when asked that question, when I first start with a client, my first session with them is, who are you? Who are you really today, right now? And that's the question I have for you. I want you to ask yourself and really lean into this. I mean, this isn't a flippant answer I'm looking for here. I really want you to dig deep on this. Who are you today? And whatever that person is, whoever that person is, if you look at your life, it is a reflection of who you believe that you are. Our identity drives all behaviors. And we are going to talk about that a little bit more in depth in a couple of days. But today I want to tease you with that. And I want you to lean into who are you right now? And who do you want to become? When we think about change, and this whole series, by the way, is about making a change in your life, doing something different. Because if you are stuck in a gray area, whether that's with your health, with your body, how you're eating, how you're taking care of yourself or the lack thereof, working out, going to the gym, seeing a doctor, getting labs checked. You know why I like labs? Because they're factual. They don't lie. They're numbers. It's data. And when we have data and we can really see what's going on, we can make better decisions. By the way, if you are joining and you're watching this live, please do me a favor, drop a comment in below while you're watching, even if it's on the replay. Can you do me a favor and just put replay that you were here? If you do any questions while I'm in the middle of this presentation today, please put them in there and I will see them, I hope, and I will be able to answer you in real time. And if it's something that you're like, I'm not comfortable doing that while everyone else is on here, then send me a private message. I'm happy to talk with you outside of this live platform. But do me a favor, just let me know that you were here. That's really, really helpful. But I want to encourage you that when you're looking at your gray areas and your health and your relationships, whether that's with your significant other, your kids, maybe it's coworkers, maybe it's something that who you work with. If there's anything going on within those relationships, maybe it's a lack of communication, maybe there's tension, maybe there's something that isn't quite been going right. And the longer you keep brushing that off, the longer you keep shoving it under the rug, the bigger that snowball is eventually going to get. And I got to tell you, these gray areas are choices. Once you get outside of a gray area, it's no longer a choice. My story is that I was a gray area drinker. I was in a gray area marriage. I was in a gray area career. I was in a gray area with my health. I had a lot of gray areas going on. And one thing led to the other. It started with how I was feeling about my career and about myself. That led to me gray area drinking, which, by the way, if you're new to that term, it is this wide spectrum that is in between someone who is socially drinking and somebody who is severely abusing alcohol, which, by the way, is about 50% of the population that consumes alcohol. It is a huge number. Gray area drinking isn't when you're hitting rock bottom and you're severely abusing to the point where you're so out of control or when it's overtaking your life. But gray area drinking is problematic drinking. I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. It is problematic drinking and it starts to creep up and get worse over time. So I want to encourage you, if you are in the gray area drinking, please watch all of these lives and let's have a conversation at some point, because I really want to make sure that you know the dangers of being in the gray areas with alcohol. And listen, this is applicable to other habits in your life too, whether it's overeating, porn addiction, scrolling endlessly on your phone and getting caught up in reels. It can start to really play major havoc on your life. So besides health and relationships, we also have gray areas in our spirituality or the lack thereof, with a connection, something higher than you, and also with our business. So we have a lot of gray areas, a lot of segments we could be looking at and dissecting through. But for today's live, we are going to focus on two main things. Who are you right now? And what is the desire for this change that you want to see happen in your life? Because I'm assuming if you're watching, there's something that you want to work on. So let's say hypothetically it's drinking, okay? Or maybe it's your marriage. We'll take kind of both of those at the same time. What is the resistance for you that you're not able to move forward? There's got to be something. We all have resistance. And when we desire a change and yet there's something that's blocking us, we can't get to the other side of it. That's the resistance. If we know what that resistance is and we can remove it, then we have the ability to move forward. So it's important to identify what is that resistance that you currently might have. And maybe you don't have any resistance, and that's awesome. That means you're ready for the change. But if there's some resistance there, you have to be able to identify it. Desire is the first D of the decide method. You must have the desire to want to make the change, or there's no point. And it is the catalyst of all change. We got to start there. And next, we have to look at exploring your why. Why is this so important to you? If you don't have a rock solid why, again, it's going to be very hard to keep moving forward. Do you want to know why? Because you can have a good solid reason why this is important to you. You can have the desire and you can have no resistance. But my friend, the moment that you start committing to it and then something happens down the road, and you know it will, something's going to come along, whether it's a trigger, a person, a situation, something is going to come your way and it's going to knock you off. And when that happens, when you get knocked off, you're going to go back to your old ways. When you have a solid why this is important to you, you will stay committed and you will keep moving forward, but you got to know what that why is. And when you are figuring out what that why is, you're going to go 5 layers deep on that. It can't be just the first answer. I want to fix my marriage, or I want to quit. I want to moderate or not drink as much. Okay, great. What does that mean? Let's go deeper. Why do you want to work on your marriage? Because I've invested a lot of time in this partner and we have children. Okay, well, why is that important? Because they're everything to me. And I have a lot of things tied up in that, a lot of investment into my family. Well, why is that important to you? You see, you keep going 5 layers deep till you get to the root. With drinking, it could look something like I want to moderate or eliminate my drinking. Well, why is that important? Because I know it's affecting my health. Well, why is that important? Because I just got labs back that indicated that I have some problems with my liver and it's starting to affect my overall health. Well, why is that important? Because I want to be here for my family. Well, why is that important? Because I want to see my kids graduate. I want to see my grandchildren someday. I want to live longer. Okay, now we got the root. And let me tell you something, when you find the root reason why, when you do get confronted with something that is going to challenge you, you can hold on tight to that why, and it becomes your anchor. It becomes your stabilizing force the moment you start to get rocked. It is important to understand what your why is. So I want to encourage you today to do two things. I would love for you to break out a journal. If you're not a journaler, I encourage you to start writing things down, because I'll tell you what, you can have everything up here. I don't care how smart you are, what position you have in your life. You will become so much better at understanding you when you can write things down and journal about them. So write down who you think you are right now. Who are you? How would you describe yourself? How would you describe yourself today? And maybe it's something like, I don't know, I'm just the guy who likes to drink. I'm the party guy. Everybody knows that. These are all statements that you might believe about yourself. And maybe it's I'm a little far off. Maybe it's something like, well, I'm a devoted husband, but I don't think my wife is very happy right now, so I'm starting to pull away. Well, you can see by having that identity and believing that about yourself, you're going to start seeing those changes in your marriage. Same thing with drinking. You're going to see some of those changes starting to happen if you believe that all you are is a party guy and it's expected of you to drink. Because what you believe about yourself really does impact your behaviors. Your who you believe you are, affects your do, your actions. And your do very much replicates your who. It's reciprocal. It tells you who your who is based on what you do. It all goes hand in hand. So for today, write down who you are currently and why this change is so important to you. And go 5 layers deep. Go 5 layers deep on this. It's also helpful to locate, or not locate, but put words to it, what you believe the resistance is and what could get in your way. It's really important to know that. What could possibly get in your way if you do make a change? Is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it time? Is it factual? Or is it just something that you're telling yourself? Sometimes what we believe might be true isn't exactly true. It's something that we have made up inside of our head. It's a story that we've created, and it's not always true. So we want to look at facts here. What are the facts about who you are now? What could get in your way? Why this change is important to you? And if you can journal all that out today, I promise you, my friend, you're going to be in a much better place, a much better place. I really want to encourage you to do that. Tomorrow, we are going to be diving even deeper into the decide method. Today, I teased you out the D and the E, having the desire, which is the catalyst of all change, and knowing what your resistance is. Because if you have the desire and there's any resistance, guess what? You won't get the outcome that you want. And knowing what it is that you want. What do you want? And if you don't know, can I tell you something? A lot of times people don't know what they want, and that's okay, because I know that you know what you don't want. And sometimes we have to lean on that. So what is it that you don't want any more of? That's what you're going to write down. and what's the resistance. You got to be able to identify it. Go really deep on your why, and that's exploring your why. It's called Explore Your Why because we are going on an exploration to find the truth. When you think about the word explore, I think about going on, exploring new things that you haven't yet explored or seen, right? So, this is an invitation for you to explore why this is so important to you by going 5 layers deep. So, if you do those two things, knowing what your desire is, knowing what it is that you want or don't want, locating that resistance, and then exploring your why. Tomorrow, we're going to continue with the importance of being all in on commitment. And we're going to talk about identity a little bit more so you can better understand why you're doing the things that you do. And it's not your fault. Can I tell you? It's not all your fault. A lot of this are things that have been brewing over a number of years, even all the way back to childhood, that is causing you to feel a certain way. And it's okay, because guess what? We can start to work on those things. We can start to work on those limiting beliefs that have been holding you back and keeping you stuck in this pattern. That's why you're stuck. It's not all your fault. But now that you know, now that you have the awareness, it is your responsibility to make a decision. It's up to you to decide if you're going to move forward with a change or not. Whether this is with a habit, with a relationship, with a career that you're not sure about, whether it's with your health, whether it's with your connection spiritually, leaning in and going after what it is that you know is going to be beneficial for you is going to change your life. And my friend, once we're able to identify what those gray areas are and you're honest and we look at the facts of those gray areas, we can make significant progress. And I want to invite you to start that today by doing these action items. Let's recap one more time. Okay. We're talking about why you're stuck and how to shift from it. We're starting with the decide method. Desire, the D in the word decide is desire. It is a catalyst of all change. Knowing what it is that you want. And if you don't know quite what you want, but you know what you don't want, let's start there. Identify what the resistance is that could get in your way with that desire. It's really important. Next, we're going to explore your why. We're going to go 5 layers deep. You're going to keep asking yourself, why is this important to me? And why is this important to me? And why is this important to me? All the way to get to at least 5 layers deep. That is the root. Your why becomes your anchor. It keeps you steady. It will keep you moving forward because if something comes along, which it will, it always does, and it wants to knock you off, you will have that strong anchor that will keep you connected so you don't fail. Okay. Tomorrow, we're going to move on to the C and the I, commitment and identity. Please join me tomorrow. And by the way, I want to share just something really quick with you. If I may, I would love for you to check out the Decide 30 program. I'll leave it here at the bottom running. If you go to my website, graytonic.com, you will see there's a couple places on the homepage that talks about the Decide 30 program. Go check that out. We start April 1st. I would love for you to consider this 30-day group course because I 100% guarantee your satisfaction. It is less than $500 for a full month of coaching with me on a daily basis with weekly calls. And we are going to shift you out of these gray areas. And I promise you that you will gain massive value inside this group. I only run this group a few times a year. Here we are. It's coming up just next week. Matter of fact, a week from tomorrow is when it starts. I would love for you to consider it. Go to the website, check it out. If you have any questions, you can let me know. Okay, fair enough? So I will hopefully see you back tomorrow. Please be here. I don't want you to miss any of these lives. We're going to walk through, we're going to break it down. And I really want to help you shift out of the gray areas that you're currently in and into a life that you know you deserve, that you've worked so hard for, where we're not surviving, but thriving, where we're not limping, but we're leading, where we're not numbing, but becoming, when we're not faking it, we're making it. Okay? I would love for you to do that with me. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a blessed day ahead and take care. Bye for now.